they had to change the verbal signal that they were using to shift their line. So that's kind of what happened on those first two.
Great, and no one is surprised that the offensive capabilities of the Demon Deacons offense, right? However, their defense was able to shut down their Army offense today. What was lacking this evening that you couldn't really get the offense going the way you probably like?
Oh, they were doing a really good job playing blocks. I mean, that was the case. I mean, we had some opportunities and couldn't sustain blocks and just whiffed sometimes. And sometimes we got into those guys and they shed the block really quickly. And those holes open up and they close back up. So we got the ball on the perimeter a couple of times and made some yards on the perimeter, but it was tough. They got a good football team and it's a new defensive coordinator. And I heard Isaiah talking about it. They lined up in a completely different defense than they did a year ago. So we anticipated it. We felt like that's what they lined up in is what we practiced. They did stem and move the front a little bit and got into some different techniques when we got into some of our formations that were a little bit different, but that's to be expected. And they're, we don't get to ask them what their game plan is. So you got to be prepared for all of it. And there were times where I thought our guys did a good job blocking them up, but other times, we ran into some issues with just not being able to sustain enough to have a crease that would gain us more than a couple yards.
My follow-up and final question: coming into the game, you had several key players not able to play. Others played but weren't 100%. And then, of course, this game players like Terrell Robinson got hurt. Along with the physical setbacks, can you talk about the emotional and mental battles that this team faces going forward?
Oh, I think any time when you lose a game that you're disappointed and it's a shot to your ego, but to be in the position we are and having lost 4 times already, that's kind of unfamiliar territory for the guys on our team, and we've not been in this situation for a long time, and as humans you start to question, and you question your ability and the things we're doing, and confidence is bruised, and that's what happens. It's part of human nature. But I think we got tough people, tough kids, and they're they're brought up in this program and in this environment at West Point to be tough and to be resilient. And so we're going to find out. We're going to find out if we are and see how we respond. We can react and point the finger and blame others and scratch our heads, but the blame is on us, and we're the ones responsible for it. Me more than anybody. So we'll respond and come back and practice and try to play well next week and see if we can get a victory and get this season kick started.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Go to Ken Kraetzer.
Ken Kraetzer, CaMMVetsMedia. Good evening, Coach. Just ask you first about the 2 turnovers in the first half. Jacoby Buchanan losing the ball at the 13-yard line, and then Cade Ballard's interception at the end of the first half, which ended, both of those plays ended drives for you.
So the fumble on the opening drive, I didn't see it, and I didn't see the replay yet. I didn't see the replay on the screen, and I think it was just it all kind of happened at once. He was going to the ground and they ripped it out just before he hit the ground. The bottom line is, if you got a ball in your hands and you hit the ground, you need to get up off the ground and hand the ball to the official. So there's no question as to whose ball it is. It's ours. And I mean, likely he probably didn't have it secured like he's supposed to. And that's ultra important, the fundamental of carrying the ball and squeezing the ball and protecting with another hand. And so I don't know exactly what happened, but there was, they called it a fumble, and the play stood. It wasn't confirmed, so there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it. But the call on the field stood. So whether it came out or didn't come out, I mean, that's of no circumstance, other than we give the ball up. But in my book, it shouldn't matter. I mean, if you're laying on the ground, they come and pull the ball out of your hands while you're laying on the ground. You're leaving it up to somebody else to decide. And the only way to take everybody else out of it, the officials included, is to carry the ball. And when you get tackled, you get up with the ball and you hand the ball to the official. Then nobody has any question about it. And just didn't do a very good job of securing it there. And then the interception at the end, I think Cade was just, it was a desperation throw. He's trying to chuck it up there. We had just a few seconds left in the half. It was, I think, under 10 seconds at the time, just trying to make a play. We're down 21-0 at the time. And, wasn't probably wasn't a great decision, but he's trying to make a play. And he got flushed out of the pocket a little bit, or felt a little pressure, and he flushed out to the left. And I think when he watches the film, we watch the film, probably could have hung in there a little bit longer. But again, he's trying to make a play, and he's a veteran quarterback, and he's capable of making good plays for us. That's why he's in the game. We trust him, and just unfortunate they ended up with it.
You just ask you about the 4th and 1 at your own 11 on the second drive that you completed, you converted, and let that drive continue. What was your thought on that? You certainly have confidence in your yardage plays.
Well, I think on 4th and 1, we got to try to go for it, especially against a good team like Wake Forest. If we punt the ball and give them another opportunity without trying to extend a drive, and we're really just kind of maybe giving up. And if we can't line up and move the ball 3 feet, then it's hard to say it's hard to boast that you're a good offense, or you got confidence you can score if you can't move it 3 feet. Don't have that kind of confidence. You line up at 1st and 10 and think we can move it 30 feet. If we can't move it 3 feet on 1 down. So, that's just how we play. Like the Georgia State game. We're down there inside the 1 yard line, 6-inch line. We think we're supposed to score. And we are. And we didn't. And so when you don't score in that situation, probably don't deserve to win. We didn't earn the victory that day.
Let's just ask about Tyrell Robinson. Any idea of his situation?
I don't know exactly what it is. I know he's hurt, and he was hurting pretty bad out there on the field. And we got a great medical team. They'll do an assessment, and we'll figure out what's going on. Hopefully it's something that he can recover from pretty quickly and play. That's my hope. But I just hope he's all right.
Hope he is too. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll go to Ken McMillan.
Hey, Jeff. Did you feel like your defense did some things better defensively this year against Wake than last year?
Oh, they did some things better. Obviously, I mean, it was a track meet last year, excuse me. But we did plenty of things today that needed to do better. We didn't do a great job containing the quarterback. A couple times he got flushed out of there, that last touchdown. And we had some of the young guys in there at that time, but it was just right in line kind of with what had happened throughout the game. A couple times we had these guys covered, and we kind of had him jammed up in there, and he was able to escape and leak out to the side and just lost contain there. You know, I don't know. They didn't score as many points as they did last year, but it was way too many for us to be able to win a football game today, obviously with the lack of points we scored, but we missed some tackles. We had some balls get behind us, and really we knew that going in. We can't let those guys get behind us. They're really good at that. They're really good at buying their time back there with those slow mesh plays, and they just, I mean, they get so many people in there to protect, including the back, and they hit us over the top a couple of times. So, you know, that's last year we had a lot of those balls over our head. We didn't have quite as many this year, but I mean, it doesn't take but a couple of those, and a couple of those went for touchdowns today, and they're a great football team. They're a really talented football team. They're well coached, and you know, I mean, that's an offense that has scored a lot of points against a lot of people. So, you know, we're not the Lone Rangers in that regard. We did a good job at times, but you didn't see the punt team go out there very often today. And if you can get the punt team on the field, you're probably playing pretty good defense. And if you don't, then you're not.
Your quick thoughts on the Wake defense, because obviously you guys moved the ball a bit, but then when it came to crunch time, they really stepped up big. So
They did. We tried to throw the ball some, and we got pressured. We didn't do a great job of keeping them out of the backfield. Now that again is people ask about our offense and why we do what we do. That's why we do what we do. You got guys on the other side that are rushing the passers against Clemson, Florida State, and they're effective against guys like that. So we drop back to pass. They're gonna probably be pretty effective against us too. And so, you know, we hit a couple plays. We had some play actions. That's usually you know, helps in protection because we got more guys in there to protect and give the quarterback some time, and the play action helps. It gets people thinking about the run. Obviously, that's why you do that. It's not a whole lot different than their RPOs when they put the ball in the back's stomach and run those routes. But and just in a run game, we've got to be able to sustain some blocks and pry some gaps open and get ourselves into third and fourth down situations that are more manageable. And just at times they did a good job of shutting us down and getting us into a position where we had to punt. And we were trotting our punt team out there way more often than they were. And that's why the score was like it was.
I know you want to win every game, but you praised Wake Forest up and down all week. And I think they showed why they're number 15 in the country. Is it hard to rationalize what happened tonight, especially in, you know, being at 1-4 and trying to get out of this?
Oh, I never rationalize a loss. I feel like if we'll play the way we're capable of playing and execute, then we've got a chance to win every game we play. And we've proven that in this program time and again. I mean, Missouri was a pretty talented team, Power 5 guys that you know, are on a different level. And you guys have watched us play games at Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Norman, Oklahoma, and places like that. Madison, Wisconsin last year. I mean, our guys can play. They can play with anybody. And in each of those games that we lost, you know, there were things that we could have done that would have secured the victory for us. We were able to do that against Missouri. Tonight, we weren't. This is a really good football team. They're well coached and they're very talented, and that's a really good football team. And maybe the best team they've ever had here. I don't know, but it still isn't. You know, that's not a reason for us not to play well and to play our best. And it makes it more difficult when you're playing a really good team. But You know, my expectations are high for these guys, and my standards high for these guys, and for this team in general. So, no, I don't think we just chalk it up to, well, that's the number 15 team in the country, and didn't have a chance to beat those guys. If we execute and we do our job, I think we do.
That's it for Coach. Thanks
Okay.
everyone for joining.